Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Navakanjalochana Kanjamukhakara कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम् कन्दर्पगणित अमितछविनवनीलनीरज सुन्दरम् पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम् Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Ram Ram, Siya Ram. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajaman Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajaman Harana Bhava Bhaya Darunam. Navakanjalochana Kanjamukhakara कञ्जपदकञ्जारुणम् कन्दर्पगणित अमितछविनवनीलनीरज सुन्दरम् पटपीतमानहु तडितरुचिशुचि नौमि जनकसुतावरम् श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम श्रीराम श्रीराम राम राम सिया राम.
Okay. Am I audible to everyone? What is the way to use the words of Satsang? We share so many words every day, and most of those words are pointing in a direction that don't bother so much with words. So it can seem quite strange. So, what is the intention of the speaker, whoever speaks these kind of words? What are they pointing towards? Where they come from? And to meet that which is beyond conceptual understanding, at least as much as the conceptual understanding that we are creating as a result of those words. With everything that is said, there is a lot which is either not said or impossible to say. That is why the whole spiritual path is a strange path where we are attempting to speak about the ineffable, attempting to speak about that which cannot be spoken about. So we must not get stuck in the idea that what is being shared in words encapsulates the truth or a large part of the truth. The larger part will always be unsaid. You see, and even in this, so as we get used to living in that unsaid, then that unsaid, we have to use these lame words, but that unsaid then takes a life of its own. You see? So we may call that living in the heart, not in the head. You see? But what is the transition from head to heart? We've gone from just trying to squeeze every bit of juice out of the concept to lead to an understanding about what is, to now relying on the unsaid as the primary knowledge, as a primary source. So in one strange way, the point of the words in satsang is to allow you to look in the direction of the ineffable one, that which we cannot really speak about, that which doesn't provide a framework in which we can narrate our lives. And we may say that God lives there, but remember that all of these are very incomplete words. God is not captured in the word God. Is a very beautiful pointer to God. Lives. In what way does God live? And when we say He lives in our heart, you see, what is the meaning of that living? It's not captured in the word lives. And we say there, where, which heart, what are we talking about? You see, so the way you can meet this is in the unexpressed part more and use the expressed part as a pointer. But if you then say, yes, He lives in my heart only. No, that's where He lives. You see, then that becomes a conceptual exaggeration. That which was a well-meaning pointer then can become, oh, but my teacher told me He lives in my heart. So He can't be anywhere else. He's in my heart. So He's living there like a miniature Lego character or something like that. You see? You see? In the physical, biological heart. You see? So we may take that Hanumanji story too far to depict that, oh, he lived as some imagery in the physical heart. You see? But if you meet it in the unsaid, then God lives in my heart, takes a completely different color, completely different texture. So this is very important in on the spiritual path. Very important on the spiritual path. Because in the unsaid, you will meet him timelessly without any mechanical process. Aparoksha. And what I'm realizing more and more is that this is as true for our spiritual life as it is true for our worldly life. So it's not really two different things. So when we hold on to outer narratives, we have to only hold on to them very lightly, if at all. Because then they are allowed to grow, they are allowed to flower into wisdom, into insight. So how does a child learn how to drink water from a glass? How do you drink water from a glass? We talked about it last time also. That we don't really know, in the sense we can't really conceptualize. Like we don't know how to fire a neuron, how to get those nerves activated, how to move the hand, how to get it in that shape, how to grasp it with the right strength. So even with so-called worldly knowledge, we know much more than we can tell, we can speak or write. But what happens to us when we become too deterministic, that this is exactly how it is, especially about ourselves and our brothers and sisters, then what unfolds is suffering. You see, because suffering is the price we pay for lies. And we can't hold on too tightly to that also. But it seems like human suffering is the price we pay for life. Which is a modern way of saying what Bhagavan told us. Avidya is the cause of suffering. So you're getting a sense of the picture that is attempted to get painted in Satsang today. Okay? The direction in which we are going is to just be very light on the inner and the outer. You cannot force your way to God, and you cannot force your way to anything which is truly full of happiness in this world, if there is such a thing. So the way to unite the inner and the outer is in our treading lightly, in our softness. So then your spiritual pointers will become explosive for you. So if you hear that God's presence, the Atma itself, is here living in your heart, then how is that pointer to be met? Or when we see that the process of prayer is only to lead us to the true prayer which is happening by the Atma itself in our heart. And how is this to be met? We can meet by imagining, visualizing, conceptualizing, but that is not a satisfactory meeting. If you hear in Satsang today, oh, Atma is within me, and you just keep repeating it to everybody, Atma is within me, with no real sense of it, then it is not spiritual knowledge. We must allow spiritual knowledge, the pointers, to do the work and lead us in a very holy process. So they cannot be squeezed. I don't know if anyone's getting a sense. Okay. Can't squeeze the truth out of them. What do I mean by squeezing? Like, I heard this in satsang, God prays in my heart. Now, I really want to understand it. I really want to get it. Or that Atma Gyan is possible for me, Atma Darshan is possible. So like, wow, that petulant child, it just, so it doesn't work in that process. And I can say this because from direct experience, I was that petulant child. You know? So when the masters have told us that it's grace, see, they were not trying to say, oh, you leave satsang, you don't listen to any spirituality, don't do your sadhana. They were not saying that, because you could say that. That's also to take that too tightly. It's all going to be grace. Okay, then I can just chill. Close this door. Shall we just close that door? So either I will come, let's take a simple example, possibly the simplest example. I will come to satsang when I want to, or I can come to satsang only when it is grace. If you take either of them too tightly, we are falling into a trap. There is the truth. So in this way, then anything can become a koan. Where is the truth? Can you come to satsang whenever you want? Okay. No, not really. Can you come to satsang only when grace is upon you and like literally pushes you to come? Sounds more spiritual and true, but not really. Because if Maya had her way, that you will never feel that. Just sit. So, do we need to be able to determine these things so much conceptually? Uh, I mean, towards what end? Just to feel like my life has some structure, my narrative is logical, it is making sense. But what if the sense making mechanism itself that we have was too limited to fathom God and His presence in the form of the Atma? And maybe the sense making mechanism that we have is too tiny to make sense of our life in the world as well. So then, so far, what I've said to the mind can sound very hopeless. Then what should I do if I can't understand anything? You see? So then the sages have provided us the good news that there is a higher knowledge, there is a deeper knowledge. It's called Atma Gyan. And Atma Gyan is not restricted only to knowledge of the Atma, it is inclusive of everything in the world as well. You see? Not everything in the way that we want it, in the sense that once I come to Atma Gyan, then I should be able to predict, you see, what, uh, what tomorrow will be like and these kind of things. So remember that that's the whole point, that what is inherently known and what comes into the surface at the surface level of knowledge in the form of thoughts and sensory perception is two different things. And that is why you find that most who start touching spiritual insight become very quiet for some time. Most. Again, this also we can't say tightly. Natural for that to happen, because what are you going to say? So if you had met me in 2009 and said, tell me something, I just said, I don't know what. I can't even process the question. So for that which is inside to translate into any form of expression which is helpful in the form of pointers, usually happens over a period of time. And that also is a movement of grace, we can say like that. So not to rush with our spirituality and not to rush in the world and not to rush to what? Exactly. So don't jump to conclusions. The mind won't be happy with that. Let it not be happy. You be happy. Is it the same thing? How many of you live as if it is, how many of us live as it is, as if it is two different things? Yeah? Most of humanity, the mind's unhappiness is my unhappiness. The dissatisfaction of the intellect is my dissatisfaction. But as you start to make God your constant companion, sometimes you start to notice this one just on its own trip somewhere, but you're not joining. You started to get this sense sometimes that it's going on its own, some merry escapade, but you are not joining. And it's not happy because it's constantly trying to tempt you into the shape of the traveler, but you are not moving. You see? And these things may sound like, oh, the mind is trying to go to Timbuktu and it's trying to take me there. No, that's not what I'm saying. In this moment, it may try to get you to judge a brother. Why is this one like this? Why can't they be more like that? Either in the room or out of the room, somewhere. So you've already left Satsang, no? You see. So at least for that moment, hopefully I can bring you back. But this constant play of shape making which it tries, and it happened so often that you come full-heartedly into satsang, and not just satsang, but otherwise also. But you come full-heartedly into satsang, first minute something happens, you see? And then it's a write-off. Whole satsang, what did you hear? No, I was just getting angry. So, so in this way, it tries to constantly take us off from that peaceful non-determinism of relying on God's light in our heart to a stressful determinism of our narrative constantly. And the subtlest way probably to do that is not proposing that I'm going to make a shape out of you, but I'm going to give shape to your knowledge. Okay, this is a very subtle point. Let's go slowly. The one of the biggest baits that the mind has to offer us is the form of a shaped knowledge. Isn't it? Getting a sense of that you're really now getting a grip on this. You're getting a grasp on this. For me, if you've got a grasp on something, then I have to come up with a new pointer. Because you think you've grasped it. Now I need to provide something fresh to you, which you feel can bring you back into that wonder, into that empty, into that awe. And somewhere maybe our attempt is the reverse. We're trying to अच्छा समझ आया अच्छा समझ आया अच्छा did I understand, did I get it, did I, is it like that? And you may be feeling that you're building your spiritual wealth through that process. For me, you're restricting your spiritual wealth through that process, because I haven't understood anything in spirituality so far, you see, including this. So can we really, and is that helpful for our growth, to be able to say that I have concluded? It seems to be helpful for our pride. But can we really, hand on our heart, say that this, this concept fully encapsulates some understanding that I have? Even the highest, even the lowest, neither of them. So, with most things, we just have to take them lightly or laugh. And as I'm saying this, are you feeling a certain like ease? Because initially it can be troublesome, where it's like, so what am I supposed to do then in satsang? But once you start to get the point that it's to unwind, it is to let go, it is to relax, it is to fall into the heart, not force your way into the heart. Nobody can force their way into the heart. You see? You can only fall into the heart. You can fall into Atma Gyan. You cannot force our way to Atma Gyan. Just like you cannot force someone to love you. They can only fall in love. I didn't even know that falling was going to be connected like that. So you just have to allow it to unfold like this. So, like, I did not realize when the word started coming like that, that falling will get connected with falling in love like that. So how does it happen? Through the intelligence from a deeper place. So I didn't have to force my way to what is happening. Is it logical? Is it making sense? Are we getting somewhere? So if we allow God, we let go and let God, as they say, then we we start to recognize the non-deliberative, the non-deliberate sort of music that our life becomes. So our life has to become like God playing music, is it? But God playing jazz, not playing some classical symphony. You see the difference? Of course, classical symphonies can be, by the masters, they can be played in a almost spontaneous way. But jazz gives you that constant improvisation, constant. Where does it come from? If you talk to any musician like that, who who operate freely, they'll say it just comes, it just comes. So the way to peace is to not hold too tightly in our worldly life, and the way to God is to not hold too tightly in our spiritual life. And again, I'm making that distinction only provisionally. It's not a real distinction. So how long can you just live lightly without taking any shape and not allowing any knowledge to become solidified also? So including the knowledge that this is my problem. My problem is this. Okay, so I would say, are you sure? Because I've met many of these, like my problem is this, and once that is gone, then my problem is something else. So that's a shapeshifter which we can't really get. So don't determine so strongly about any of that. It's just going to take your day from you, or your week, or your month, and for some of us, years. If you don't take any shapes in your head, or at least you don't take them too seriously or too tightly, then how far is God? I remember one time, many years back, it's coming to memory that Jyoti was here and we did the fresh. You remember that? Just had empty, fresh. Just any thought, just leave it. You stay with me. You stay with me. And she said, that is the best satsang I had. You see, I don't know if she remember, but she said to me, it stuck with me somewhere in my pride, maybe. So, so I don't know. She said, that's the best satsang I had. And what was needed, all I was saying is, okay, just stay with me. Just empty. We can live like this. So nothing, no new knowledge was formed, no new concept was given, nothing like that. And yet, what was the burden that was let go of? The burden of trying to make sense of things, make knowledge out of things. Am I really getting what he's saying? Here something is offered, but that offer is like a finger. You can hold the finger and go to the wholeness of it. But the finger is not the entirety of it. Because Zen master said that I'm just the finger pointing to the moon. But if you start thinking the finger is the moon, then there's a problem. The words of satsang, the oh, I'm negative. Big, big trees. So the words of satsang and the embodied form of the teacher are both like that finger pointing to the moon, not the moon itself. So neither the disciple nor the teacher should fall into that trap. That there isn't anything except a pointer here. And a pointer also if you're lucky. So
One of your old quotes, and I loved it so much. You said, I am the marks you drew on the tree when you left for the forest, when you went into the forest. Marks back home. So beautiful.
it's tough, right? I am the mark. Mm. Let's just say that my expression is different now. Like I would find it a bit strange to say, I am the marks you left behind when you got lost in the forest. Still, even that is too much. Like Karl Marx. And that marks you left behind. It's true. Hello, birthday boy, please come. So, keeping the I am stuff aside, the appearance of an outer guru is that mark. Is that one who's pointing you to that place that you left behind and you got lost in the world's maya and the world's delusion. What is the way to follow a pointer? We've heard for decades that what you're given in satsang are pointers. someone should ask, I'm sure I wanted to at some point, how are we meant to follow this pointer? Can you give me a pointer about that? Because these very pointers can cause a lot of trouble if followed the wrong way. You see, and they can lead to some beautiful pathways to God if followed the right way. So how is one to follow a pointer? We've heard, no, all of us have heard. You've been given pointers in satsang, and all of you have accepted that you've been given pointers. So how are we following them? Why not follow? That's one pathway. Yeah. So okay, let's take this. Okay. So let's say that the pointer was just leave it. Huh? Just leave it. So how to follow it? So it cannot be followed uh, by like conceptual hanging on to just leave it, just leave it. Now I have to just leave it, just leave it. Like who am I? Who am I? Well, some people think that you have to chant the who am I and the answer will come. So like that. So it cannot be followed in that way. So then if we don't leave, just leave it. Is it? Then we've not left it. Is it? So the way to how to follow it, is it how to say it in words? By it's a letting go, it's a allowing. You see? So if something has come from the light of spirit, then spirit itself has to reveal the rest of it to us. But we have to make space for that revelation. You see? So we cannot then treat it like, oh, when it's grace, then only then. Or I have to do it. I have to find out what he meant by let go. You see? So neither of those we can really apply. So it has to be more more niti-niti, more getting into a stillness, a silence to allow it to reveal what it has to reveal. He said it's easier to follow a pointer coming from it's coming from this form rather than hearing it from the mind. There is something in that. So, and the same, there is something in that only to the extent of the fact that when you get used to hearing it in your heart, is it that one pointer from the heart will be worth much more than so many ramblings from the mind, even spiritual rambling. So if in this way this is a replica of that, then it's good. But it's also to be said that I may say some things for many years, but till you come to that heart realization of it yourself, then you may say, oh, this is what he's been talking about. So it also works in that way. So, but what I'm saying is the primacy of intuitive insight, God led, God provided insight from the heart. It's primary, it's potent, it's full of love. And that love makes the resistance fade. As you don't want to hear it from the oppressor in your head because it's not full of love. So the pointer has to be followed in a sense of very light holding in a very broad spaciousness. It's a light. So once you get used to this inner posture, then your spiritual life will start to flower a lot more. So the heart posture is always a little more relaxed, it's a little more light. And the head posture is, what's he saying? What's it? Like that. Give it the environment for it to flower. So treat the pointer like a seed. Now you can't force the seed to sprout. You just have to keep giving it the right environment, the right nourishment. You cannot push your way into it. So anything that we talk about, the magnificence of God, God, talking about their leelas, we do leela chintan, which is talking about the life of God, it has to be done with that lightness. We are not, God has not made you sit and, okay, now you be the arbiter of my story. And you determine, oh, this was good, this was bad, this was right, he did this well, he did this badly. That is not our role in hearing the leelas of God. In fact, that way he's not made us the arbiter of anything at all. We've been told that we must leave justice to him. And if we just learned how to follow that pointer in the same way by allowing it to unfold, then you will find that so much of the struggle is gone. That a constant, in our heads, there's a Supreme Court judge. But my daughter, if I tell her anything, she'll just be like, who asked? So that's the approach we must take with this judge in our head. Like, who asked? Huh? Just decide, no, what is better, what is right, who is the one. So, and we are doing this. Yeah, start with that one. Don't start with the good side. Yes, all notions are to be left. Maybe we can judge and say better.
No, I was just
What oppresses you more? Let's get rid of that first. So if you're constantly in a state of unworthiness by thinking others are so good and better, then maybe get rid of that. But if you're constantly in this mode of, oh, I am better, this one is so wrong about this one is wrong about that, this one is this thing, then maybe get rid of that. What oppresses us more? Jyotimas?
wondering today that how that a pointer, how does it become unfolds and becomes knowledge or transformation? It's such
Wisdom.
nobody knows how does it that I mean, like, where does it really happen? I could one day you just find that, oh, this is
When
what
does
he
it become
said.
insight?
Yeah.
It become wisdom. It become, is a pointer becomes spiritual.
Really, because we just it was like when you were talking and like this empty thing, I remember once long ago sitting in Saj, and that word be empty, just the concept of it was just not happening. You know, I mean, I tried and tried and
The more you try, the more
yeah,
difficult
it
it seems.
just was not working.
Be empty.
Yeah.
It has to either work in that moment, but if it catches you in that, oh, he said be empty, I have to be empty, how do I do it? Then that loop is very difficult to break. So it has to catch the mind off guard. You see? Like be empty now. No. You see? But if you allow your mind to get into a loop about being empty, then it's a very difficult
I tried every way, even seeing like a hole in a cloth, and like, okay, that's it. It just wouldn't work.
thing. That's what doesn't
Yeah.
work. Exactly.
So it was just in till that, like when you started doing like, okay, drop and lock, then like someone like you said shut there. How that? I mean, the resistance just went away, and then I realized that that was what was being asked of. But
What?
no, where did
What was being asked?
to leave it, like
The minute you can conceptualize it, it is, I know, just communicating. But I'm just saying that just to caution everyone, it's not like to make a tattoo out of being empty.
no, yeah, but what I was saying was how that understanding, how it happened of itself. You don't know why it happened in that way, and not.
Favorite explanation of the sages is that it is Atmagyan, it is from the spirit. The spirit shows us. But we don't have to take that too tightly, too strongly.
Time and repetition. Guidance changed also. Some guidance.
Yeah. See, both those put together is perfect. Repetition of the same thing and constant changing guidance work well together. Is it? If you stay, then yeah. And in a way, it is all of us in this together. It's not that. So when I start sharing something, I don't wait to become a master in that to start sharing something. It's my own exploration which I start sharing collectively, and I'm trying to grow in that process as well. So as we've grown, as we've shared different texture, so many times we've changed, it's part of my own growth and everybody's own growth as well. So we cannot hold concepts about having to be right, especially on a pedestal, because the minute you get put on a pedestal, there's this pressure that now you're on a pedestal, you better be right. That's an impossible thing to achieve, at least for someone like me. But really, then it's a stifling of deeper insight and exploration that if I had to measure everything on right and wrong, and it seems so impossible. How to point to God while saying everything right?
I was actually thinking today, strangely enough, or maybe not at all strangely, that this is a funny thing that we have as a concept that God lives in my heart. Because I was thinking that it's really, I mean, where is he not,
Exactly.
So, and that itself is a concept. But, and then if you look at, so every concept as, I think that the journey we have in gatherings like satsang is probably then not to go and not to have concepts and collect points, but to me it seems like it's probably what keeps the sort of fans the fire of staying on the path, because I feel it's very helpful satsang for this purpose, not that because I'm going to get 2 new points that I will which will change my,
Correct.
but it keeps me in that spot. And that's about the role, because in a way that these pointers are, I mean, they are, as you're saying, is this.
So nobody wants to be a seed collector, or maybe some do, but at least. So if we start to get a sense that in satsang, we're just here to get the seed, something is not even get the seed, something is seeded in us, and then that is allowed to sprout in the holy fire of satsang as well as in our contemplative time, in the time that we leave ourselves unoppressed by the mind, even for a few moments. Then that sprouting happens into, we can say flowers, or we can say one big flower. We can't really say. But a spiritual transformation happens in this sort of photosynthesis of satsang. So we get the raw material for it, but it has to unfold in our heart.
Yeah.
And then in the initial few days of sharing satsang, I used to feel like, no, I have to explain to this person how this is. I spent many hours just trying to explain and explain. And then life in a way shows you continue to grow in your maturity. Like 10 years later, I won't like the expression that I have right now. Because hopefully by God's grace, I would have grown if there is 10 more years. So in the same way, we just have to allow Him to do the work and for us to carry that, to be well-intentioned and loving approach.
It also, like, if I really think, like, what also another, the transformative energy, as we say, that when we sit together, there is this beautiful, we all plug into it, and when it is received in a, yeah, and also I think it has a huge role in one's posture, as you said, heart posture, because that stays, I think, at least in my case, helped me a lot to have head bowed down. And I can't really explain that. It is not something that, because, today the pointers are all over. I mean, even AI is giving the pointers are on your, I mean, there's nothing but pointers in the world. And if we were left to them with our notebooks and pencils and collecting all the points, we would miss the point. So yeah, it's
Happened in my case was I used to be a big collector of points, and in a way I still am, I feel. But so what in God's grace used to happen was that I would read and collect and read and collect and hear and collect, but then something would come which would make me pause. Okay? I would just hear something or read something and I'd be like, oh. So God had to do it this way, that He provided that spiritual momentum in some of them to do even that pausing for me.
Yeah.
So what to do? This silly child who doesn't know how to do this, then God finds a way to teach him. But I feel like this may be happening to most of us, and without even realizing, just collect, and then something. It's a different place. I have a bit of that librarian in me.
Yeah.
Especially with the words of the sages, I just feel like I just want all of them. I just want to
And also, I think as long as the intellect and mind are alive, it's nice to. It's also very nice that they're channeled here. Then in somewhere we have to get our teeth into something. So this is like really nice to get into trying to understand metaphysics or whatever. Much more preferred to once you're you're in the path. You're in the path. But I think
once you get into these metaphysics and things, then everything starts looking like a metaphysical problem. Even the most mundane thing. So it's a beautiful exploration.
Yeah.
So when you first hear the philosophical question, there's not much to distinguish them from the spiritual question.
Yeah.
Why is there something rather than nothing? You can't solve it here. And what is that? Ship of Theseus.
Mhm.
It's all about, a lot of it is that exploration. But, and a lot of like philosophers that I love, like Kierkegaard, very, very spiritual, actually. Very, very spiritual. But some of them are actively not spiritual. Like, let's not get God into it. And for me, that is to close the door to insight.
Yeah.
All exploratory disciplines and disciplines are exploratory. I was saying that all exploratory disciplines at least, and that most disciplines are exploratory in some sense. So if you read Dostoevsky, you can say he's not spiritual. Maybe uh, not in the same texture of love, peace, and joy. The deep spiritual exploration has happened there. Or any of them, Sartre, even Camus, even the ones who actively denied God. The exploration is very deep because you can get the fragrance of intuitive insight. Is there a filter on the video for a reason? Is there a filter? On this video? Blurry background. Am I on the right internet? Background effect, is that? Have we enabled that? I'm sure. Okay, we'll have a look at this after this. Nice.
Father. Yeah,
Mm.
it's like when you put a background on, but it's just like a kind of fuzziness. And
Yes.
it's glitchy. It's very glitchy.
Well, thankfully, this is not touch up my appearance, so that is off. Portrait lighting was on, adjust for low light was on. How is it now?
It looks good, yeah.
It's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The cup, like when you drink something from the cup, it sort of changes color, it glitches in and out. Sorry.
So mirror my video. Which one is better?
That looks good. Oh, can I ask a question?
Yes,
Or
yes.
uh, um I don't know what, like, I was listening and something kind of brought up something. Um I can't remember what it was, but basically, I always kind of get this annoying feeling about not so much trying to get it mentally, but just trying to not suffer and then feeling like that's trying to get it, right? It's like you don't want to be experiencing this, so you're trying to get it. And that brings up like this, it's grief really. It brings up like a grief. Um, and anger. Because like why would you not want to not suffer? And I don't know, and a guilt, like I don't know, it just brings up a lot. Is yeah. Um, and on a similar note, like I know in the past, um, a similar feeling has come up because, well, the story is because um it's just so uncomfortable to be like this. And there's a lot of like desire to not be like this. Um, yeah, I'm not quite sure what I'm saying. It's basically like an anger and frustration or something mixed in, of like I'm not supposed to not want suffering or something, and then it feels
Higher
like,
way to suffer.
sorry,
Like a higher way to suffer, no? Like a meta suffering. That's the suffering about wanting to suffer or not suffer.
suffering about like feeling it's bad to not want to suffer, you know, like to really want to get it so you're not suffering anymore. Like that's not the right reason to be here, sort of thing.
Oh, that can be thrown out. The only reason I am and I got into spirituality is because I didn't want to suffer.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what my mind is doing with it, but that's kind of
A lot
as
of a lot of us. very few of us have that natural inclination to find out the highest truth, and that's why they come into spirituality or start off with such a deep devotion to God that they get into spirituality. Many of us, if not most, got in because we were just tired of suffering. We just felt like there has to be a better way to live.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what exactly I'm saying, but I know when this thing comes up like, oh, this is not the right reason. This is not the right reason to be in satsang because you're not going to get it for you to stop suffering, for the me to stop suffering.
It is the only way to, at least I have found, to come to the end of suffering.
Yeah.
That's a very good reason.
It feels like, it's like the me is not ever going to get non-suffering, you know? I don't know what my mind's doing with it, but it's playing games there. Like I need a better reason. So, like a more
A holier reason.
where grace will come kind of reason, because it's not going to happen for you, you know?
Whatever reason brings us to God, whatever reason brings us to satsang is a good enough reason. You don't have to worry about that.
Okay. So just drop it.
See, because it'll become a lot more convoluted if we go in that direction of will this me get it or not get it, and then if that me is dropped, then who remains? So we don't want to get into a fight with the shapeshifter at all.
Yeah.
You're here, and that's what's important. It doesn't matter so much what got you here.
Yeah.
I'm very happy you're back after so many years.
Actually, Father, I wanted to tell you basically what happened was it just became really painful to be like being told the same thing over and over and over, and then, and just feeling, yeah, mainly grief is the main thing that comes up here. Like, this is just so painful to feel it, to feel like the truth of what you're saying for so long, and to be, I don't know, just feeling completely unrelating to it. It's still like, Father, help, Father, help, you know? It just became, yeah, it just became painful. And aside from that, like it's never left. Satsang has never left. I've been, you know, just not in satsang. I've been watching and it's always been there. But yeah, it just became just heavy. It just became heavy to be feeling like that. Yeah. But I'm really happy to be back too. I miss you, Father, so much.
Oh, I miss you too. I was just telling them the other day that I'm so happy Shivani is back after so many years.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to say is that after 7 years, the audio is still bad.
The audio is still bad, exactly.
It's still bad. Nothing has changed. Online audio. Online
I
audio.
realized the problem is in the source, not the audio.
Fair enough. I didn't hear you. The audio cut out.
When she first came, she said, I don't know what I'm doing here because I can't understand your accent at all. I said,
Yeah.
same. Got used to the accent, but the audio is still bad and it's always going to be bad. Just came to that
Yeah.
realization.
I feel like occasionally I'm like, I'm sending something over. That's it. I'm done with this. I'm sending Father
Many
something.
have tried. Trust me. You're not the first. We have those big systems. I know Chaitanya also tried sometime. Nitin has tried over the years. It just doesn't want to get fixed.
The technology will improve eventually.
Maybe it's some God's like sense of it is to say that God is applying this filter so that those who want good audio in satsang don't then bother coming.
Maybe. Yeah, well, you don't need it really. Honestly, you don't need it. But yeah, occasionally your mind's like, oh no, that was vitally important. What did he say?
The main point
Yeah,
to tell you.
that was it, and I missed it.
Main one.
Yeah, I didn't hear that far. Uh,
Okay, I'll say again. Listen carefully.
okay,
The main thing you have to get in satsang is
never mind. Never mind. Uh.
you would get the joke by now, I'm sure.
I don't know if you faked saying something then or the audio went again. I don't know.
Amount she has dragged me, this is nothing. They're all saying, why are you troubling her? I just don't want you to leave again. So
No, I'm not going anywhere far. I don't think anyway. I don't know. If the audio doesn't get better, maybe.
maybe. It's not going to get better after so many years.
Yeah, no. I'm missing all the good jokes. I'm missing all the good jokes.
Actually starting to get a bit upset. Didn't you fly down?
Hey?
Come down to Bangalore. It's been too long.
I know. I know. I'm so broke, Father. That's the problem. And it doesn't seem to want to change. It's like the audio that never changes. It's just, yeah, just money never seems to flow.
You're so broke and yet your audio is better than mine. See?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I think that's Australia versus India. Maybe. Like the power thing with the power going off and stuff.
Power going on. Okay, we'll talk about the broke thing, but you can come otherwise.
I don't have a passport right now.
What happened to your passport?
It just ran out and I couldn't afford to pay for it.
Like Shivam. There's Shivam.
Yeah.
He said in
Darling,
Italy, it takes so long to get a passport.
no, I don't know. I just didn't need it. I haven't used it since I left, like since the last time. So yeah. The only issue, Father, is Milo. Bringing Milo over there.
Milo.
Yeah. I'm not sure where I would go. He's pretty full on, like, keeping him safe is pretty full on. So yeah. Just like no road sense. You have to hold on to him 24/7. So yeah. And then getting like someone to look after him is another thing because it's a higher level of parenting and safety and yeah. But I would love to. I would love to. Yeah. Maybe I'll just bring everyone with me.
As long as you're not coming to satsang because you're suffering, all is good.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I just won't answer that and I won't get in trouble.
You're obviously not used to my sense of humor anymore.
No, yeah. Well, yes and no. Yeah, it's coming
Like
back
this
to me.
one, big white beard now.
Yeah, the white beard and the long hair.
That's true.
I was looking at oh, because you and Muji stole my screen thing on my computer.
Yeah,
I was looking at that tonight when I came on. I was like, that's so different. It looks so different.
this is true.
Yeah. Anyway, I love you, Father. I'm
Love
really,
you too.
really glad to be back. Yeah.
Most of the things that you don't hear are because I'm mumbling or I haven't said them at all. If that
Yeah.
helps, or makes
It,
it
it
worse.
it kind of frustrates me a lot, Father, but it's okay. Yeah, because yeah, it's like I don't know. I don't know why. It just frustrates me a lot.
Really.
That's it. Because you feel like you're missing something, and then like the conversation doesn't flow.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone else stopped complaining about it a few years back. They just got used to it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's all right. I'm not gonna talk about it anymore. That's it.
Should be able to get fixed. Can't be that difficult a problem, is what her face is saying. But her words are.
I've learned how to be calmer. I've learned how to be calmer. Yeah.
At least, see, you got the background fixed at least after so many years. Wasn't it
Yeah,
fixed?
I'm happy. I'm
Yeah.
happy. I'm back to fix things. That's it. No, it was just like there was a whole bunch of stuff going on when you'd move your arm that would like, yeah, just doing weird things. And it was starting to give me like an epileptic seizure type thing. So I gotta say something. I was trying to be patient and I was like, no, I gotta say something. I feel like I'm whinging, Father. I feel like I'm whinging like hell right now.
Just
Yeah.
trying to say you missed me. That's all.
Hey,
You're just trying to say that you missed me
I did. I did, Father.
and that you'll get used to my accent soon again.
The accent's fine. The sense of humor, I think I've lost. Yeah. Love you, Father.
Uh, The sign of Maya. The sign of Maya is that our determinations about what is happening to us. Like if we say, today I'm not so happy because my partner had a fight with me, versus what is really happening is so different. So suppose we even take God out of it for a moment. Do you realize that that which you call yourself the body is moving at the speed of light? Where is it moving to? To the next moment, at the speed of light. And if you're moving in some other dimension, at whatever speed you're moving in, that speed would reduce the speed of how fast you're going into the next moment. Yeah? So I'm not making this up. You also finding the accident difficult? See. Talking too fast. I'm trying to make sure I don't mess it up. So, so what I'm saying is that we are that which we call the body, myself, is moving at the speed of light into the next moment. And if you move in some other dimension with a particular speed, that speed is reduced from the speed of light. So we move into the next moment that much slower. Yeah? So, you age slower. So if you were able to run at the speed of light, you'd be immortal in the body. Yeah, you see, because you're not aging, you're not going forward in time. You see, already at a worldly level, what happened to that fight with the partner? It's nothing. Every instant is like that. You see, now if you get God into it, you see, God is being. In that being, there's a set of perceptions appearing in the light. In those trillions of perceptions, there is one set of perceptions which we call the body, we call the me, among trillions of perceptions. You see, in that light of God, all this play is playing out. He is the director, he is the producer, he is the light, he is the screen, he is everything. And forgetting of this, you see, that God is being, and this whole universe is just an appearance in the light of that being. You see? And to be able to zero in on some tiny nonsense that we think is the most important thing in our life, you see, is so difficult. Then if you get the nirguna into the picture, that I am that unchanging reality, the pure witnessing of all of this play, and nothing can touch me in this world. It's impossible for the attributeless one to be hurt by anything at all. This thing, that is what I am. But what I take myself to be is so far from that. And that's why I want to bring our spirituality to a point where all of these things which we know conceptually, we start to live literally in faith. You see? The only two places in which they will be met is the two places of the heart in faith from the heart. Otherwise, like we were talking about earlier, we've just collected a set of concepts which we call spirituality. And they are being used like blood pressure medicine just to keep our lives from seeming completely out of control. Just like if you don't take the blood pressure medicine, then it'll be too high, it'll become unmanageable. So we're not to use satsang only like that. Of course, it can provide relief from suffering and pain. Momentary relief also is relief. But really, how quick are we to drop what is our highest insight and to go towards our lowest insight? How quick are we to do that? So this year, the constant emphasis, I feel, can't really predict, is going to be to bring the wonder back into spirituality. To bring the sense of awe. Like, what are we saying? We're saying, when I ask myself who I am, I recognize that I am that. All of us say that. Most of us say that. Then how do we come back so simply into this misidentification so quickly? The tiniest trigger. Somebody just looks at you wrong and you go from Nirguna Brahman into the non-existent tiny me like a little child wanting to fight. You see? You see? So let's live in our highest mode of knowledge, constantly reverting to the lowest mode of knowledge. Why? Because that is where what we are looking for comes to fruition. So all the tips that are being offered, the attempt is so that we don't get caught up in the smallness. It's like this only. No, it's like that. He's like this only. She's like that. All of that is rubbish. We don't have the capacity to conclude any of this, either about the world of Maya or about God. So let's leave the smallness. Let's leave the, what was our deal? The top 3 topics of last year will be dropped. Dropped? Who dropped? That one deal got dropped, that's all. The pointer got dropped. So, but that's how Maya works. It's a tremendous forgetfulness. No? Like, what are we forgetting? The Western word for Maya is not that attractive. It is the devil. Illusion, but it's the devil. Yes, many times I speak to it as if it's a force field that pulls us in, and spoken about in Indian spirituality a lot like that. But when Kabirji talks about it, he's talking about Maya like the devil, the greatest con artist. So, but so you would say the forces of darkness or something like that, maybe in the West, or ignorance. It's used in a in a very similar way. It's used in a very similar way. As long as we recognize that there is like a force which is pulling us out of love for God, turning away from God, and using everything at its disposal. You see? Everything at its disposal, but Anandmayi Ma gave us a good trick. She told us that Maya is when Main Aya, when the me comes. You see? So we can say that the world appears, the world of Maya appears, but it has no poison till the me comes. You see? So it can be met innocently. But the minute it's meant through the lens of me, separation, I am somebody, something, then all the trouble starts. Bhagwan said that a different way. He said, till there is I am, no trouble. Till that I am gets after the I am gets attached to something, then all the trouble starts. Same thing. Yeah. Yeah. So he says that just the birth of the I am itself is the start of trouble. Because I was sitting peacefully nirguna. Why this whole saguna had to come? That's another way of looking at it. But since it comes and we wake up every morning and the waking state comes, it's helpful to remember that as long as I stay with God and don't pick up the me, this world of trouble cannot trouble me. The road, she says, is very narrow. What does that mean? Say,
Like at any moment only there's either me or God. There is no other option. So if I'm with God, then there is no me.
so it seems narrow. Why? Because the mind has so much variety to offer. You see, there's pride, there's resentment, there's anger, there's frustration, there's so much like relationships, special relationships, attraction, lust. There's so many different things. You see? And the road to God seems variety-less. Seems, you see, just what are we meant to do? Empty. Pray, inquire. Doesn't sound like fun. See? So to stay on that lane, no, I will not turn towards attraction. I will not turn towards aversion. I will not turn towards resenting. I will not turn towards pride. So many diversions on offer on the narrow road. Just to keep on it, no? And vigilance, no? Mind will say, see what he did. See. Nothing. Just stay on the road. Stay. God, remember. In those moments where there's potential for great fear, you see, to stay on the narrow road, it comes only because the sages have devoted their entire lifetime to practicing that. How to not go with the force of Maya, how not to go with the lawyer of Maya, as I call it. You see, because it makes some very compelling arguments every day. I see all of you kids every day, and every day it has made some argument to you. And that day then belongs to that. Today is about this happened. Today is about that. See? Even the days where nothing happened, in the mind something happened. Oh, today I'm very upset about something that happened 5 years back. Just thinking about that. Why? Only useless things. Because look at the perspective. You see, perspective, we said we are moving at the speed of light into the next moment. You see? On what is this? Like this ever expanding universe of which the earth is just a tiny, tiny grain of sand. On top of that, this tiny, tiny body is thinking that it is the center of the universe. We used to say in satsang like that. These days, satsang is reminding me of those satsang, where we were saying that, in this world we have to deal with these 3 dimensions of space and 4 dimensions of time. There are other universes where you have to deal with much more complication. Also, just a framing. No? Like, we can't give much value to what we can frame in our intellect. It just sets a narrative for us as spiritual seekers to be able to focus that this is going off the lane, this is going on the lane. But all of these, well, it is a, it is a very experiential, like, what are they now? 5D movies. So we're trying to create immersive environment within this immersive environment. Say in Vaikuntha it's 16 dimension. What we couldn't, this is 16 dimension. What is that tesseract thing? So we've left the wonder behind, is the point I'm trying to make. And there's wonder everywhere. In the world and that which is beyond the world. Why have we left the wonder behind? In the mundane. Just the mundane, same old stuff. They're left because of pride, or because of ego. Because my narrative is most important. So I have become a servant to my ego. Why? To Naren? Because I've become a servant to my ego, then how to live in wonder?
I don't know if you've seen a recent demo of the Apple
Vision Pro?
Yeah, Vision. Have you?
No, I haven't.
I just saw one last month and put on the headset, and the situation I was put into was as if it's my birthday, and there's a woman who's supposedly maybe my wife. There are 2 children. A cake is being cut. They're all talking to me.
Oh, wow.
Calling me Tom or whatever.
Yeah.
And, I just kept watching it. Like, it was so engaging. But after 3-4 minutes, I had to keep telling myself, I'm Naren, I'm not
Oh,
Tom.
look at that. Look at that.
So it was so powerful. And then I took the headset off. Then I was dazed for like 4-5 minutes, like, who am I? You know?
Identity.
So my sense of self, it was so fragile. This
so
Naren guy could be erased in 3 minutes if the perception was so strong.
So,
Yeah, it was. I saw it in Singapore. It's like a half-hour demo. It's for free. So if you go, yeah. But to your point, I mean, I thought that experiment was so cool that anybody who has any doubt that their self is completely just a bunch of memories that are coming up in consciousness, it can be so easily erased. So if you spend a day in that, you won't know who your past self was. You won't.
Like that one, we wake up. Because when I know what happened and what my name is, but there are a few seconds where I don't know anything.
few seconds where you don't know anything, you're in fear. Then
I want to hold on to something. It's fear.
I don't know, it's very difficult to, for me at least, to be so conclusive about those few moments of waking up.
It does happen like that. It happens like that.
If you get spoken out of sleep, yes, it's just. Especially because you still have jet lag. No, it happens. Like when I travel and I get jet lag and I get woken out of sleep. We used to have this experiment. A few, like I've even imagined caterpillar and things like that. But most often we used to have this experiment that just close your eyes. Imagine you're sitting at the banks of the Ganga. We're not doing the whole thing. I'm a bit tired, but and then you're an old woman who's sitting on the ghat, on the banks, and allow all these thoughts of the old woman and what she has to do, where she's coming from, allow them all to come and start believing them as they come. So imagine the scene sensorially and start identifying with, do I have money to eat today? Where am I going to get food from? How am I going to keep myself warm? So just in a few minutes of this and a few thoughts, you start to identify. You really want to know what happened to that and was she all right and was she safe? So our identity is very flimsy. That we hate because the character was not relatable. Is it? The relatability means I could not put myself in their shoes. Therefore, that fire was not there when we were engaging in that. You love enjoying those movies after some time. Oh, those movies where it seems that you're not so relating and the story is playing out, you start enjoying them because you learn that that is a much cleaner way to watch a movie. Well, sometimes like that. Back to
The research at a university level. Offer. Exactly with that title.
Oh, yes.
To deliver a collapse of the sense of self. So we might have a few headsets here sometime.
So we've been talking about it for many years. Like I talk about it very often. But technology did not keep up with my talk. So now it's coming to that point. Examples is yeah, I tried it also once. So I said this was just like we've been talking about in Satsang, when it was very rare to have that. So when I tried it, I saw it's exactly the same what he's saying. And now it must be much more immersive. Yeah, I'm coming. Oh yes. Yeah. It doesn't take. That's hello.
Hear me well?
Very little.
Now, can you hear me well?
Much, much.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome.
Sorry, Father, recently I feel like I cannot join Satsang. Like I cannot listen at all. I'm here, like I always join Zoom, but I cannot listen. I cannot join the way that you are. It's like, yeah, I cannot. I don't know what's going on, but it's like this. And I want to bring something too, but I even lose my sense that if it is about satsang, like I lost all these things in my mind, but I came, so please help me a bit.
What is the last line?
What is the last line? I said, please you help me a bit. I said.
So I didn't hear
So
anything
I
too
didn't
bad
hear anything
actually.
too bad actually.
Sorry, it's like
Sorry,
my voice is echoing
my
back.
echoing. Say it again, Father.
Echoing. I'm getting the echo back
I'm
now.
getting the echo back. Oh, you. How it is now?
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm a bit choice. Maybe I can mute myself while you are speaking. So
Let's try. I heard some strange noises come when I spoke last time, but now it's fine. Okay. Or is it? So what I'm saying is that I didn't hear anything too bad. You're not able to hear in satsang today, but you don't know what's bothering you, and your mind is mostly empty, you said. It's all right.
yeah, there is nothing bad. I don't know. I just feel like I cannot connect you as I do before. I don't know anything further. Just recently, I don't know anything. All is fine, but I don't know anything anymore.
So just avoid this framing also. Avoid this framing also, then you're fine.
I am, Father. I don't say anything else. Okay. Father, may I bring something to you that
Yeah.
I feel like I just want to bring? Um,
I think this was one of the first thing that I actually brought to you. I told you that the first thing that we ever met, like 7 or 8 years ago, I told you that I have an inferior complexity, something like this.
I see.
And you told me, you said only this, then you need to look more deeper into this. And but of course, like, I don't know how to do it. Anyway, um, I see recently it's just coming so much and I cannot handle with that. And I feel like there is something that I just need to bring and offer because, like, last year I worked with a psychotherapist and so many things has been dissolved, like so many things. I'm so happy you guided me into that path and I'm so happy. But this thing, I will bring it to you. But this thing, even psychotherapists, oh, is it still here? And yeah, it's still here. And I don't know what is that, but I feel like I need to bring this to you. And sorry, it will be so raw, but I just need to put this out. So it's about like tattoo, it's just so worldly things. Tattoo, father, like caste system in India, similar, like.
Oh, like a caste system.
And what you are doing, all these things. I'm sorry, it's just so worldly, but this became recently how I see life, like this thing looking through my eyes. So I feel like I need to bring this to you because I don't feel so much comfortable,
Yeah.
It's like my family is uneducated, okay? I
Yeah.
love them, others. But I always feel pressure about world, about this, like the first thing they ask what your parents do and all these things, and I feel like inwardly I can't handle with this. Like I don't know what is that, father. And yeah, I just wanted to bring this to you because also when you are growing up, it's just related with so much shame. You need to. I grow up in like very rich environment, all this stuff, and it just downloaded a lot. And yeah, recently it's just so much here with me, and yeah, like my eyes looking through this, and I feel like I just need to bring this to you. I don't know what, but yeah, just this. I found myself, father. I also left university and I'm happy with myself, okay? It's just about like the pressure that I feel from people and like
Mm.
I don't know how to like this thing. I cannot handle this this. Yeah, recently I also see that maybe I just need to do something, I need to grow up in this way and I try to do, but I'm lazy and I don't feel to do because the point that it came, it's not pure. It's about like being something and it's not for me and I cannot do this. So whatever needs to be seen or needs to be left here, I just want to leave this and I want to be comfortable also, like with my background, father. It's very important, like yeah, just this. Ah.
Thank you for sharing. It's very difficult to deal with such an environment where everybody seems to look at us through a certain lens because of our background or education, or in India, there's a lot of things about religion and caste and class and all of these things. So it's not easy at all. It's not easy at all. So I can understand.
I just want to find a place within myself that these things does not bother me anymore, Father. That I cannot change. This world is like this, okay? It's about their expectation, but I need to find something within me where it doesn't touch me anymore. And even when they see that strength, I think it's find. So I just need to find that within me. Because I see in also many spiritual environment, it's also like this, Father, not with you, not with Guruji, but where I am, still people work like this, Father, even in very spiritual environment. So maybe that's why it exposed so much within me, this thing, like still what you do, what you put outwardly. And
Yeah.
how I am now. I always try to find a word, all this, but they are just so related, and I'm just so tired about all the psychological, whatever they are, this stuff. So I just wanted to hand over this at your feet. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I don't feel that any environment that uses these worldly things to make differences between brothers and sisters, I don't feel like they are spiritual environments anyway. It is just how the world is in most places, and even all places of worship, not all, but many places of worship are now infected by this kind of line of thinking. And in India, as much as everywhere else, if not more.
No, Father, I don't want to compare, but also this is something which also like I cannot put so much like with you, with Guruji. I'm not bothered about these things at all. It doesn't come even our consciousness. We are just so relaxed about these things with you. But um, in my country, in the spiritual gatherings, and I'm not saying that spiritual gatherings like in Western, like really there are Sufi, Baba, and all this stuff, but maybe this is cultural difference. But also that spiritual father always tell their children, like just go to university, do your master and all these things, PhD. They just so encourage about these things. So it also like kind of like create, I don't want to say division, but something within me, because they also give so much importance to how you live outwardly. So, but with you, I not so much put so much put focus on that. So, yeah, this also creates this within me or expose. So, yeah, but I
So,
cannot do anything.
how much have you studied? And did you go to university? And what's your degree? And what's your monthly income? And we didn't ask you all these questions before letting you into Zoom. Oh, somebody's not doing their job. Just messing with you.
Yeah, they are still weighing and scaling people like this, Father. So I'm nothing about these things. But at the same time, Father, they see me something, even in that environment, they just looking at me like this. Not now, but before they were like just so impressed, And I know that it's the Guruji's light because everyone in Guruji's Sangha have this light. So they are just so impressed, and that's why they were asking, like, what are you doing? What is your job? Because they wait in this kind of thing, like, you must doing something great to carry such a light. But no, I'm doing nothing. So yeah, I just wanted to share.
You can pass some of that here also.
How do you do this on? I can give them back. For allowing me to share this, Father. Thank you.
Lovely.